Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Daryl Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
New year, great things lie ahead. And again, I'm throwing this question out. When does Happy New Year become not Happy New Year?
Hey, I don't know, but this is the very first podcast in 2024, and a Happy New Year to everybody, whether you're a longtime listener or this is your first time. Selling from the Heart, we've got an exciting year ahead, and I'm so looking forward to all the things we've got to roll out. And by the way, we've got an incredible guest in the studio today, Diana Kander. You're going to absolutely love this. Larry, 2024.
I know. Big things lie ahead. There's so much growth happened in 2023 here at Selling from the Heart, but I'm going to drip out a little secret. Y'all are the first to hear this. Daryl already knows, as well as some of the insiders. Book 2's around the corner. Stay tuned. 2024, there'll be another book in addition to Selling from the Heart. Super excited.
You're going to be so excited when you learn about this. And as you know, I leaned into Larry really hard to get Selling from the Heart written 5 years ago. And we've been hard at work behind the scenes to bring something fresh to you that is going to be an incredible resource. And I'm so excited to be able to drip this out throughout the year. Thank you to everybody who is in the Insiders group. And this year is going to be the best year yet. And Larry, I love how we gather on a regular basis, like-hearted sales professionals and leaders, encouraging each other to exceed, excel, to move forward. And this is going to be a great year in the Insiders group.
You know, absolutely. And y'all know, if you've listened to the Selling from the Heart podcast for a while, you know, I've been on a deep Napoleon Hill journey. One of the key principles in Think and Grow Rich is developing a mastermind community. And that's what we've done here at Selling from the Heart. We meet every Friday at noon Eastern time, and we bring guests in, we bring thought leaders in, and every other week we create masterminds. We all learn together. It's a great group of people to hang out, like-hearted, like-minded people. Come hang out with us.
If you want to get involved, just click the link in the show notes and you'll get a free pass to the next Selling from the Heart, up close and personal. You're going to thank us for it. It's amazing. Another thing you're going to be thankful for is our guest today. We are thrilled to host Diana Kander. She is the author of a transformative book on B2B sales experiences, which we're going to talk about today. She brings a unique perspective from her life journey, starting as a refugee from the Soviet Union. She's not only an acclaimed author of 3 insightful books, including Go Big or Go Home, The Curiosity Muscle, and The All-In Startup, but she's also a passionate keynote speaker. And Diana's personal story is a tapestry of resilience, from overcoming breast cancer to achieving ambitious physical challenges yearly. Her life beautifully merges professional expertise with deep personal experiences, all underlined by a 24-year strong marriage and a love for unique projects and swag. Diana, welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast. It's great to have you here.
Can I have a copy of that introduction? Because
you like that?
I think I want to update my intro for speeches. Wow.
There you go. Hey, we're so thankful to have you here. And this is going to be a fantastic way to kick off the new year. And Diana, you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and that is, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
I think that we all care about the people that we're selling to, but to me, selling from the heart means showing them just how much you care and being able to translate those feelings into actions.
Oh, Diana, I love this, because part of the trust formula here at Selling from the Heart is inspirational experiences. And we're big believers that you're responsible for how you show up. Y'all might work for a great company that has great leadership, but as a sales professional, it's about how you show up to inspire someone into better business. So I'm glad that you brought this up, because it kind of ties into this, how y'all show up. And I believe this, we can all show up a little bit better.
Well, I showed up here with a present for the two of you. Yes, I think, every new meeting should include a present sometimes.
I love it. I love it.
Now, Well, I had an introductory conversation with Larry, and I noticed like behind him is all selling from the heart swag. And you had everything, Larry. You have hats and you have mugs and you have shirts. And I really wanted to challenge myself to like, what don't you have to promote this idea? And so I came up with something I bet you don't have.
All right.
I have this little heart here, and it's got, you see the selling from the heart logo. And
love
that. When you push it.
I believe heart-centered leadership helps you build better connections with your salespeople and your clients.
Now, wait a minute. Wait, there's more. What this heart is an insert into stuffed animal.
Oh.
This one is branded selling from the heart colors. Wait, I'm going to squeeze it.
I believe heart-centered leadership helps you.
Is that so cute?
It's so cool. Larry, you have a stuffed animal now.
I gotta have the Diana. I gotta have that.
I'm shipping it. It's for you. It's a gift. Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
So fun.
Oh,
so coming in
you're
the mail.
awesome. Oh, Diana, that was, oh my gosh. I'm at a loss for words sometimes, but now I'm at a loss for words. Holy smokes, you're awesome. Oh.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I have never read a book that I was like, felt it was such a marriage to Go Big or Go Home, like selling from the heart.
Oh, thank you.
So good. Well, tell us about it. Go big or go home. We're big believers in inspirational experience here at Selling from the Heart. And so this book, you're a kindred spirit. So what's the flyover of Go Big or Go Home? Because everyone's listening in. By the way, by the end of this show, let me just tell you, you're going to want to grab a copy for yourself, for your leader, the other people on the team. So, Diana, what's the big idea behind Go Big or Go Home?
The big idea is that even though we care a lot about our product and we want to differentiate as much as possible, we all sound very similar. And the only way to differentiate yourself is by creating an experience, one that involves emotions for your audience. And it doesn't even have to be about the product itself. It could be on the periphery of what it is that you're selling. But if you can make them spike their emotions during the interaction, then they will remember you and then they will pick you.
Just like what you created a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, I did it for you.
So, I mean, and I love this. And I wore out a highlighter in your book, and I've had a chance to get to know you, Diana, and I'm so grateful for it. But there was a section, and we were just talking about this prior to recording, our time together, about compelling cases, not necessarily win. And I'm just paraphrasing this, but what's the inspiration behind all of this? Because you poked the bear, and that's what I love about your book is you throw a stake in the ground on a couple of things, but I like what you shared about compelling cases.
Sure. So it all goes back to, I was an entrepreneur for 10 years, and one of the businesses that I ran managed legal services for big companies. So if they were spending at least $1 million a year on lawyers, I would help them find and manage those attorneys. And in one client in particular, they were looking for new legal representation. They were down to 3 law firms, and those 3 law firms came and did their final pitches. And after each pitch, they were high-fiving themselves, like fist bumps. They were so excited about how unique their pitches were. And what they didn't know is that each 3 said the exact same thing about what differentiated themselves from the other people the company was interviewing. And when I heard them say the same 3 things over and over again, they are a very old established law firm. They're business minded. They have experience in healthcare law. And that's what they thought was their differentiator. The client was left to compare them based on what they were wearing, how they talk to each other. And if you don't create something to stand out, the client will come up with their own things. And trust me, you don't want that.
How true. I'm picturing everybody self-congratulating, right? My favorite phrase of a horrible presentation, we pride ourselves on, and it's just like say, we're so unique. And the thing behind the scenes is, no, you're not. So what are we going to do as sales professionals to stand out in a world where it's all the same from the customer's perspective? Being great at what you do is just table stakes to get in the door. How do we go big or go home? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think the key is to be memorable. And if we're going to be memorable, we first have to understand how forgetting works. So after you do a presentation, according to research, they will forget 50% of it within an hour. By the end of the day, it's 75%. By the end of the week, it's 90%. And you don't get to pick the 10% that they remember. The only way to mess with this formula is to spike their emotions at various points in the presentation. And we uncovered 5 different tools that you have at your disposal to spike the emotional feelings connection of the people that you're pitching to. I'm happy to go over all 5, but they spell out the word magic because that's what you're doing. You're creating magic in your presentation.
Oh, and I love that you use the word magic, and hopefully you'll be able to peel some of this back. And as I'm sitting here listening to you about memories, I just think of Disneyland because I grew up in Southern California, and I've always said salespeople and sales leaders, you got to create what I call Disneyland-esque experiences for your clients and your future clients, because that's what will keep them coming back for more. And here's what's interesting, and then hopefully we can peel back the magic on this, is whether that be Disneyland or whether that be insert famous amusement park or even sporting events, they never lowered their price. In fact, they raised their prices and people keep coming back for more and more and more because they do things better than anyone else. They capture memories and experiences, which ties directly into your acronym around magic.
That's absolutely right. I was on a call this morning with somebody who was looking for a keynote speaker. And what they said to me was, I just want to take the energy from this 30-minute phone call and bring it to our organization. And that's how you should be thinking about it. Like, what is the experience that people are having when they interact with you?
And I think that energy side of things is incredibly powerful. And I love our friend Don Barden, good friend of the Selling from the Heart podcast, behavioral economist, and he validates everything that you just said about how little people remember. And when you said that we don't get to choose even the 10%, you go, ouch, ouch, that hurts. So magic, how do we create magic? I know it starts with the letter M, and we're going to get this from a dramatic reading of Go Big or Go Home.
It's got a little outline here. M for make it surprising. Yeah. So if you can add elements of surprise, that is a shortcut to emotional feelings. Kind of the gift that I brought with me, that's a surprising element. But you want to start off the relationship in such a way that tells people this is going to be different than all of the other interactions like this one. And then they're more likely to pay attention. The more they pay attention, the more they remember.
Love it. Make it surprising.
Yes. Analyze them on a deeper level, which means most sales folks do demographic research before they go talk to somebody, size of the company, how long they've been there. But what we advise is doing psychographic research, really understanding what people care about, what drives them, and maybe things that you might have in common, just a deeper level of analysis. G, give the pitch in the right order. Most, over 90% of presentations are given in this format. Are you ready? Step 1, hey, let me first tell you a little bit about myself. 2, let me tell you about what we do. And 3, let me tell you about why you should pick us. And that is the opposite of how they care. So basically, everything at the beginning, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about the new tires they need to buy. They're thinking about their shopping list because it has no impact for them until they believe that you understand their perspective of the world, what they care about, and you see things in the same way. So we advise reversing the presentation, making it about them first. Again, kind of how I did today. Like, I've been thinking about you, and here's what I want to start with is you and how you make an impact. I love this. I love this reading from the book. I include 3-dimensional objects. So if we're trying to be memorable, the way science works is, images are better than text. 3D objects are better than images, and experiences, like a full experience, is even more memorable. So how can you add those elements into your presentations? And C, you co-create together. That if you don't come with a fully baked presentation, the best salespeople we interviewed all said that they have chunks of the presentation that are meant for the other party to participate. And that is a very intoxicating emotional draw that you can create.
And Diana, you know what I love about the last one is we really firmly believe about co-collaboration, and just a play on co-create is you'll be surprised and actually amazed when you can co-create or co-collaborate with your clients or your future clients. Let's just talk about your future clients for a second. You'll surprise and delight them. I mean, I remember the first time we rolled this out and we co-collaborated with someone, I think their jaw hit the desk because they hadn't experienced this before. And when you can get right, it's just technology 101. You can just use simple Google documents and you can just share Google documents back and forth. And you guys can co-collaborate or co-create a whole entire solution where they're getting buy-in every step of the way and feel like they're part of it. That's what I love about the C part of magic.
And it makes the experience even better.
Yep.
Like their participation, it's not just a ruse. It actually makes the end products so much better than what you could come up with on your own.
Ugh.
I love it.
Are you ready to unleash your business? Work Better Now provides incredible full-time remote talent that positively impacts your business from day one. Free your time and resources from administrative tasks and from tedious hiring activities. Whether you need an executive assistant, need to staff up a department, or you're a high-performance sales professional that simply needs more time, Work Better Now's reliable, full-time, and dedicated remote workforce is vetted and matched specifically to your operational needs. Larry and I have enjoyed having our Work Better Now assistant, Carmen, on our team for almost 2 years, and she has made an enormous positive impact on our business. Head over to workbetternow.com to schedule a free consultation and transform your business. When you mention the word heart during your conversation, you will receive $150 off for the first 3 months of your service.
And the order of the presentation, I think, is incredibly powerful. And this is something anyone listening in can jump on right away. Just flip your deck upside down or get rid of it. And really to begin with the other person in mind. And I think this is so powerful because it's selling from the heart. I think anyone listening to the Selling from the Heart podcast, hopefully you've got a good heart towards your clients and you have a good heart to actually serve and be a resource to them. But practically, when we start that deck with about us, here, let me tell you a little bit about our organization. I love the law firm, right? We've been in the blah, blah, blah for blah, 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 because that's all they're hearing is blah, blah, blah. To flip that around and start with the client and their needs. How are you seeing this work out in the real world? What's a good practical real world story of how this is playing out?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we fall into this trap because the client starts with, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've all gotten really smart at not answering, well, tell me how much it costs. And we're like, no, I'm not going to do that. First we have to get to know each other. I have to understand your problem. But when they say, tell me about yourself, we're like, yeah, sure, of course. That seems totally reasonable. And I think it's just as tricky as the first one that I mentioned. So when you hear somebody say, tell me about yourself, you say, I would love to do that in the same way. But first, I have a question about the new book that you're working on for 2024. What next body part are you going to start selling from? I'm kidding. Not that. How do we dive deeper into this topic? Because I want to share experiences of mine that are most relevant to what you're thinking about and what you're doing. And I think kind of turning the tables back on them the same way we would if they asked us how much it costs can be really powerful.
So here's what I'm thinking is there's people out there listening or watching and they're going, Diana, I buy into this, right? I'm thinking back to my last several calls. Oh man, I wish I would have done it differently. Where does somebody start? Where does a sales leader or a sales manager start when they've had this conventional way of going about their meetings? What are the first couple of things they can do to kind of flip the script and point them in the right direction?
I like to think about the story of my customer experience, my sales experience as a hero's journey, like a movie. And I like to pull out scenes of that movie that are key scenes. So like when somebody first fills out my interest form, when I have my first phone call with them, when I show up on site. And then I go through the 5 tools that are magic tools. And I say, well, how can I make this one experience a little bit more magical? How can I add a 3D object? How can I add something surprising? How can I do something out of the ordinary? So like on phone calls about curiosity, I'll say, hey, my goal is to create a transformation to literally make a light bulb go off in the minds of your audience. Just something that they're not ready for so that they can be like, okay, what's happening next? And so I put out my key scenes and I try to think of what magic elements I could add to each one.
Oh, I love that. Not much different than what Disney would do to create a ride or an experience and what that's going to be like. And, you know, a little thing about that too, when you go to Disney World, one of the things that's impressed me, I mean, the rides are awesome and all of that. But I've noticed from the moment you get to the airport and get on that magic bus and then get to your hotel and then get on the monorail over to the park, every moment of that, even the most mundane moments, like a bus ride to the airport and from the airport on the way home, they've thought about how to make that a magic moment. And so you think about selling from setting that first appointment to what happens not only during the meeting, but before and after the meeting, 2 things we're passionate about, selling from heart. All of that works together to create that inspirational experience. And this becomes the differentiation. If you're in a world of sameness, and guess what, folks? You're in a world of sameness. You've got to lean into this if you want to do something and stand out.
And you can start with something small. You could start with your signature line in your email. You know, we all default to the exact same signature lines, but how can you do something that is authentically you and communicates your personality? So for instance, when somebody fills out a keynote speaking interest form on my website, you know, I ask about the date and the event and how many people. And then the last question is, who is your favorite comedian this year? And that question, like people will write in like, I know this is going to be awesome just because you asked that question. And it's because I care and I love comedy and I want to learn about new comedians. And it's something that's on the periphery of the service I provide, but that's what makes me stand out and feel different from everybody else.
Oh, this is so good. And there's something I know about Diane, and she just let it out of the bag. I follow Diane on Instagram as well, and I've seen some of her stand up. So I'm going to throw you on the spot just for a second.
Yeah.
Is how do you see the tie-in between stand up comedy routines and how this has helped you connect in a sales world? Because I mean, I think we can bring some humor into this and it lightens the load a little bit. But how's this all tie together? I'm curious.
So the biggest formula for telling a joke is to add an element of surprise. The more surprising the punchline can be, the more people laugh. And so it makes you think, okay, well, my natural instinct in this joke is to go here, but what's a sharp left turn that I can take? And if you can bring that kind of thinking into, okay, well, here's what they expect the sales meeting to go like, and how can I create a surprising out of the ordinary experience? Then it'll make it more fun and more memorable.
I love it. I love it. This is so much fun. And Diana, I know everyone is sitting here thinking, how can I get more of Diana Kander into my life? And I know it's going to begin with a book, and we got to go big or go home, right?
Yes. Well, I brought a present for you guys. This is going in the mail right after Thanksgiving, but I also brought a gift for everybody in your audience. And I don't want the cost of the book to stand in their way of getting the information. So anybody listening gets a free copy. All you have to do is email me, diana@dianakander.com. I'm going to send you a free digital copy along with all the tools that go with it.
So generous. This has been such a fantastic way to start off the new year. Diana, what's one last word of wisdom you might leave with our listeners that are going, hey, I want to put this to work, something that they can grab onto right now and go put to work today?
Your customers are having an experience, a sales experience, whether you're doing anything on purpose or not, and to think about their experience as a movie and how you can make adjustments to key scenes of that movie can make a huge difference in your closing rate. It has dramatically changed my business and my ability to double my closing rate by not trying to close, but having more fun and building real meaningful connections. And I think it can do the same for your listeners.
Oh, so good. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, Diana. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the invitation.
You rock. You're a true Selling from the Heart champion. I'm sure we're going to see more of you around here. Thank you so much.
Make 2024 your year to go big.
Or go home. Thank you, Diana.
You had to say that.
What an incredible conversation, and spot on. And this, if anything, I just want to throw the gauntlet down to our friends in the audience. Why don't we make 2024 the year of the inspirational experience? Why don't we make this the year where we look at every interaction that we have with our prospects and clients and go, how can we make this better? How can we make this inspirational? How can we add emotion to all of this?
Here. I just have to throw this out here. So, Diana, you just got to follow along with me on this one when you watch this back. Can you imagine a conversation between Diana Kander and Jesse Cole?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That would be pure dynamite. But this is the reality. And we live in a world of same. And if you're going to stand out, you've got to do something different. And the different is going to be around the experience you create. And this lines up so well with all we're doing at Selling from the Heart around bringing authenticity and trust to the sales profession. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who this past year left a review or liked or shared this podcast, because what happens when you do that is it helps this word spread. And there is a movement of authenticity going on right now in the sales profession. And if you've made it this far in the episode, you're part of that movement. So welcome.
Yeah. And I just in conclusion, I just want everyone to think about this. The subtitle in Selling from the Heart is how your authentic self sells you. And I'm a big proponent is to know thyself is to value thyself. Don't be caught this year without being able to answer why you or what makes you different. Y'all work for great companies that got great products, great services. That's why Daryl referred to, we all operate in the sea of sameness. You have to be able, with conviction, to be able to share what makes you different. Go on the journey to find your authentic self. Bring that to the business table this year.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a great roster of guests coming up. So make sure to like or subscribe on the platform on which you listen. And until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Go big with an inspirational experience. And most of all,
sell from the heart.